Howdy, Connection Group leaders. Happy Thursday. I hope you're doing great. I'm sitting in front of Sam's Club. I'm getting ready to go in here and get our supplies. D-Now starts tomorrow. We have 88 Lake students that are coming, and then hundreds of other students coming from other churches. So I'm excited. Still got lots of work, but I'm also excited to talk to you right now. So listen, if you're a person that's like me, that your eyes roll into the back of your head and glaze over when you start hearing phrases like good vibes, or intersectionality, or cisgendered, or non-binary, or just all this gobbledygook that exists right now, you're gonna love this lesson, truly. Because here's the thing, like, there's always been new words that mean nothing, right? And there's always been people who can speak profoundly on subjects that say nothing. That's always been true. It was true in Paul's day. It's true today. This passage gives us not so much armed arguments for those people as much as it's just meant to settle our hearts on how to deal with people, particularly people that are so convincing in there. So let's dive in, okay? It all begins and ends with verse 6. Man, start there, end there. And the reason why is our faith is established, it's rooted, it's begun and finalized by Jesus and on the cross. He's the one that saved us. He's the one who makes us holy. He's the one who gives us wisdom to know how to deal with all this stuff that's coming at us. So really camp out in verse 6. That really is the point. That being said, there's two things going on with this passage, all right? The first thing that's happening is the enemy is at work, and the enemy is constantly trying to drag us away, not only from our relationship with Christ, but really he's still doing with us what he did with Adam. He's constantly planting thoughts of, did God really say, or does the Bible really mean this? Like, do you really have to follow these rules or not do these things? Or is it really just enough just to put your faith in Jesus? Don't you feel like you ought to do all these things? Man, the enemy's constantly, whether it's religious guilt or scientific proof or just philosophy or whatever, he's constantly trying to shipwreck our faith. And I love it so quickly, it just makes it very, very clear that Jesus defeated the enemy soundly. So those of you who are TCU fans, I'm genuinely sorry for your loss this week. I was looking for a better game than what it was. But Georgia just romped all over the Frogs, and everybody knows it, right? That was as sound a beating as there's ever been in the national championship game in the history of that sport, right? As soundly as the Dogs beat the Frogs, that's nothing in compared to how soundly Jesus defeated his enemies at the cross. It was a done deal, and when he rose from the dead, that even sealed the deal even more. This is why we put our faith in him, and that's also why, again, we can go to him seeking out wisdom and say things like, Lord, I don't know what to do with this concept or this philosophy. I don't know how to answer these people. Rather than diving in or giving into it, we can go to him for wisdom. That's part of what he's calling to. So he says, don't be led astray or be taken captive by all these empty thoughts, these goober talking heads that sound like they're brilliant, but they're not. Stay with and listen to me. Now, the second thing that's going on in this passage is kind of the religious crowd. And again, the enemy's behind this also, but the religious crowd that's going to try to make us feel small or make us feel like we're not doing enough in order to be really, really spiritual. And again, this is just another ploy from the enemy, just to try to distract us from really the point of our faith. So these are the people who would say, hey, you need to worship in this way or practice your faith in this way. And usually it's less about doing the things that Scripture say, and it's adding on even more stuff. So certainly what the Pharisees and the Sadducees were doing in the New Testament age. But even just spiritual people, you hear people say that, man, I'm not particularly religious, but I'm spiritual, right? I'm really connected to the universe. And I really like the phrase asceticism that comes from this passage. He says asceticism is something to be avoided. Asceticism, that's just a way of saying I just deny myself of all sorts of things because that makes me holy. And there's a little bit of implication, specifically, I'm holier than you. Well, all of this stuff in an effort to be considered more holy is forgetting the most important fact about our faith. One of the most important facts about our faith. What makes us holy, what makes us whole, what makes us right with God is not our actions. It's the work of Christ. Period. Jesus is the one that raises our, if you want to use Star Wars language, that raises our midichlorian level. He's the one who makes us more spiritual. There's not a religious stepladder that we have to climb up, and then the closer we get to God, the closer we get to be. He broke down all that stuff. He makes us whole with him. And so again, we start here, we finish here. The call is to stay rooted in Jesus, pursue a relationship, spend time talking to him, absolutely spend time in his word, because this is the thing that shapes the way that we think about him and helps us know what's right and wrong about him. But the point of this book isn't just to know this book, because if it was just to know this book, we'd be no better than philosophers. There's lots of atheists that know this book really, really well and spout it off all the time. The point of this book is to drive us to love and follow and serve Jesus all the more, and to rely on him for holiness and wisdom. He's the one who helps us know how to interact with this world. So, hope you enjoy talking about it. Hope you enjoy studying it this week. Hope you're encouraged. I'm praying for you. Y'all pray for me. It's going to be a great weekend. I can't wait to see y'all on Sunday. Love y'all. Bye.